Hi, everyone. My name is Olivia Angiuli. I'm a research scientist at SignalFire, and we thought it would be fun to share a bit about who's in the audience today. So here is just a small slice of the investments that members of this audience have publicly listed. We have everything here from companies that have already gone public, like Facebook and Uber, Pinterest and Dropbox, to companies that are hot off the press right now, like Chime and Robinhood. One thing I noticed when compiling this list was the prevalence of fintech on here. You can see we have SoFi, we have Robinhood, Affirm, Chime, Stripe, Carta, Coinbase. So looking into that a little bit more, it is indeed a recent trend to see fintech really well represented. Earlier in the decade, it was more covered by analytics, followed by SaaS and mobile taking the crown in the middle of the decade. In 2018, we saw healthcare be the most represented industry, and then 2019 and 2020 were both fintech. So it will be interesting to keep an eye on that trend and see if that's something that continues on into 2021, especially given that we know that there will be a few big IPOs still to come in 2021 in fintech. Here are the number of deals participated in the audience per year, and then also the number of investors in the audience per year. And one thing to note is that we've suppressed the y-axis because we only have access to publicly listed sources of investment information. So we realize that we don't have a complete picture of everyone's investments, but we still do think that the trends will hold. And then one other thing to note is that there's this drop off that we see in 2020 in both the number of deals and the number of investors. That's kind of a known phenomenon where there's a lag in reporting of deals until sometimes months or even years later. So it will be unclear how much of this drop is actually just a data artifact versus a real drop off until a few months into the future. That being said, there are still some interesting trends here. So one that kind of sticks out is that in 2015 to 2016, the number of deals done by the audience decreased, even though the number of unique people making at least one investment in that year increased. So that kind of points into the fact that that year, the number of deals done per investor took a hit. Then we also see that the number of deals done per year is accelerating in 2017 through 19, even though the rate of increase of the number of investors per year in those same years is decelerating. So that will also be interesting to see once the data is more updated in 2020, and interesting to see if that continues into 2021. In terms of the makeup of this audience, 50% of this audience is operators, so people in companies helping run them, including 25% of the audience being founders of some sort. The remaining half of the operators are coming from many different parts of operation, so everything from product and engineering to sales and marketing. So we have a really good mix of operators today. We also see that 43% of our audience today is investors, anything from associates to GPs to full-time angel investors. So a great mix there. And then 4% of our audience today is students. So welcome to you all. I was recently one myself, and we hope that you learn a lot today. Finally, whether you know it or not, you are a connected audience. So of the people who have made at least one investment in this room, 63% of you have at least one co-investor, meaning at least one person who has invested in the same company, not necessarily in the same round. 53% of you have at least two co-investors in this room, and we see that 25% of you have at least 10 co-investors in this room. So that really speaks to the fact that we have some really active angels in here, as well as a lot of people who seem to be sharing deal flow. So that's pretty cool to see. So thank you all for coming, and please enjoy yourself today during the sessions.